Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brine and Blight. This is an original underwater revolution seafaring campaign starring all these lovely people that you see here on the screen. This is a Cypher System game, and we welcome you. Hope you're having a wonderful day. You can find all of our episodes on our YouTube. You can use !YouTube for all of the different campaigns that we run on this channel. You can also use Patreon to get all the information about what you can get for being a Patreon. Shout out to all of our Patreons. Because of them, everything we do at this channel is possible. So thank you so very much for your continued support. We are going to reintroduce everyone here at the table. Please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and a little bit about your character that you're playing today. And we'll start off with Christian.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kappa, better known as Christian in real life. So I mixed that up. I'm better known as Kappa in the online space. Anyway. Hi, you can catch me on Twitter at @TheCapForChris. I'm playing Risubi, the perceptive warrior who needs no weapon or infiltrates depending on whether or not he is in the suit. I'm really excited to be here. This is good. I like this. Everyone's here.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next we have Z.
Hi, I'm Z or Zach. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/ZachDevs. Also follow me for maybe stuff happening soon. Today I am playing Calliope, the sharp-eyed adept who fuses mind and machine. They are an android and they are really tired at this point. But I'm not tired. I'm excited to be here with the whole crew.
Excellent. Thank you. Next we have Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay Justice. You can find me at that Jay Justice on most of the things. I am playing Bahari, who is a creative adept who exists partially out of phase and is becoming uncomfortable with her growing knowledge of the universe. Sometimes you feel like you know too much, but with great knowledge comes great power. You know what comes with great power. We got to do something about this. So yeah, I'm not even going to say it again. We've all heard it. Let's go.
Very large cookies.
Yes. Uncle Ben?
If Uncle Ben's Rhoda, I'm going to be so mad.
Oh no, I'm quitting.
I make zero promises.
Yay.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm Stelluna. Today I'll be playing Berengaria. I'm a kind speaker who asks beasts to help me very, very nicely and gently. I don't control them. They are my friends. And I'm going to hand it over to the daring duo of TricksyWizard, Trout. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Stop it. Hi, I'm Trout. My partner Adam and I make TricksyWizard comics. I'm going to let him talk to y'all more about what we're doing with Trixie stuff. But today I am super excited. I'm playing one of my favorite characters ever, Bunk, a brash sniper who's wanted by the law. They're very, very injured, but just used a lot of healing to get back up to a respectable number of things I can do. But I have no more options to do that if I get hurt again. So hooray.
Ooh, all right. And I'm Adam. I'm the other half here of TricksyWizard. We are at TricksyWizard at all the socials, and we are just coming down to the wire the last 2 days. Actually, let me check.
38 hours.
38 hours remaining in our very first Kickstarter for a card game that we made with our dear friends over at Mage Hand Press called Witchy Cakes. It's a towering game of cakes and chaos where you play as competing just rival covens of colorful themed witches who are all competing to bake the tallest, most magical cake. It's a color and shape matching game with a lot of that sweet also sour Mario Kart-esque competitive quality to it. It's a damn good time. It's been a labor of love that we've made over a long time, and we just the support we've received. We're more than fully funded at this point, and it's been an absolute dream. So thank you everyone who pledged to the Kickstarter and everyone who spread the word. Just a little bit more to go.
Stretch goals.
We will say we're like 1,000 and change away from doing muscle witches that Adam and I will be drawing. And if you all want to see some very, very strong muscular witches, we just need a little more push to get to that 30K within the next 38 hours.
Oh, I'm gonna tweet it right now.
Opening my wallets. Excellent. Thank you so much. We will pass it on over to Adam to tell us where we were last session.
Ah, yes. Welcome back, everyone, once again to the capital city of Marabas, the crown jewel of the aquatic kingdom of Sonaspar. In recent days, a city in turmoil, roiling with bitterness and discontent as its populace strains under the boot heel of the Valthuran Empire, a colonial regime that has worn the transparent mask of ally for half a century. After 50 years of so-called friendship, during which the Empire has overseen a regime of increasingly militaristic repression and cavalier resource extraction, the facade of stability has finally begun to crumble, thanks in no small part to the actions of a small band of would-be revolutionaries. Now, when last we left our band of malcontents, their twin heists at the Marabas Network broadcast station and the Rapalia Imperial Penitentiary had both gone off with only minor hitches. Their primary objectives have been completed, accomplished, and then some, with Calliope successfully hijacking the citywide emergency broadcast system to disseminate a message of rebellion, and Berengaria, Risubi, and Bunk releasing over 1,000 inmates from the prison and bringing down the entire prison complex, crashing down around them. And though it came at great cost and mortal risk, Bunk also succeeded in rescuing one Captain K. Pollux, their old mentor from a prior life, from the prison maximum security wing. The group's goal had been to send a message on the eve of a massive labor strike, and they certainly have made more than enough noise to draw imperial attention. Bahari, meanwhile, for her part, was waylaid by a mysterious phantom jellyfish, a creature that seemed to possess the ability to phase through matter, much like Bahari herself. With a single touch, the creature was able to project Bahari's consciousness into a mysterious liminal void where she was contacted by a nameless, disembodied voice, a voice that claimed it was sympathetic to Bahari's cause, but which warned that she and her companions were on a path to certain ruin unless they took its counsel and accepted its aid. It left her with the directive to seek out a certain scientist named Milo Finnerty. Now, after escaping a collapsing tower of glass and steel and outrunning a speeding train, the rest of the group is slowly coming back together, regrouping at a predetermined rendezvous location, the Predator Sanctuary / Shark Rehabilitation Grounds, located in a cave system beneath the Academy of Schoolmasters near the center of the city. But before we move forward, we have to look back some 6 years. To a particularly fateful day for a certain young prince. These were the last days of the reign of King Laticauda, the former tin pot dictator, the former sort of despot teetering on the brink of outright revolt, who conjured for himself the image of a respected elder statesman at the price of acceding to a lopsided treaty with his Valthuran neighbors. In these latter years, the king, a widower and a distant at best father, had long since abdicated the majority of the business of governance to the up-and-coming imperial ambassador, an ambitious young man named Cadmus Kyrulus. The king's eldest son, Laticauda II, was making ready to join the Valthuran navy on campaign against reptilian guerrilla fighters in the eastern wetlands. And the younger son, Urati, was not quite 10 years of age and thoroughly uninterested in anything but his own amusement. Although these were not the only two princes who roamed about the halls of that Ostara complex, the sprawling floating fortress that has sat atop the waves over Marabas ever since that fateful treaty was signed. There was a third, a hostage prince, ward of the Empire, last of their line, Cyprian Salamandrin. Cyprian, You have been summoned this day to attend an official reception, a full assembly before the pearlescent throne in dress uniform, though you have no idea who exactly the king will be receiving. We join you in your chambers a short time before you will be summoned to the throne room. Your retainer and mentor, Captain K. Pollux, as always, is at your side. You've just finished donning your formal uniform, your thin metallic circlet with the 4 thorn-like protrusions. You have a stylish half cape slung over your right shoulder. You're wearing your form-fitting, very sandstone-colored leathers. How were you feeling this day, in this moment?
It's an insult to my family and my line that they have me appear in salamander in uniform, Captain.
My apologies, Prince Cyprian, that we will have to postpone today's martial exercises to play the diplomat.
They don't want a diplomat. They want me to dance for them.
They are looking for a show of obeisance, submission, yes. Though in truth, I know not who precisely warrants such a display. The rumor that the Empire seeks to fill a new position has been floating about, something about a commander of the Royal Alliance.
Why do they need me there?
They need everyone there. This apparently this new position will oversee all joint forces in the city and across the kingdom. Doubtless.
With my presence, then, I have performed salamandran acquiescence to their further expansion into our lands. Is that what you're saying?
What you are doing now is what you have done for years under my tutelage. You are securing for yourself a life and a future. What happened to your family was a crime. It was treason. It was unforgivable. But it cannot be repaid in kind, not now. Whatever small shames they would have you bear, it will have to be worth it. Besides, whoever they are bringing to bear today, doubtless they've dug up some retired general or noble's second child for the honor. Certainly no one worthy of our ire. Take me at my word, my prince.
I always take you at your word, Captain. I just wonder if your jaw gets tired repeating the word soon over and over again.
I have, for my entire career in the Valthuran military, I have postponed the idea of honor. There is nothing of real honor in the ranks of the Empire. I've risen through most of them, and I have nary a single exploit of true valor. Not in all those years of experience. Save for tutoring you, of course. That is an ordeal that should merit several medals, I think.
I'll dance for the Empire today, Captain. For your sake and not mine. Your honor may have cooled, but vengeance is less patience than honor, and mine burns white hot.
I will not begrudge you the bad blood between you and this house. Please, for me today, let us maintain our dignity.
I straighten my epaulets, make sure my buttons are polished and buttoned straight. For you today, Captain.
Things are in motion. Things you cannot imagine, things you cannot see, things you must not know. I only ask for your trust a little bit longer.
Cyprian. You have it, my friend, as always.
Cyprian, you recall then, thereafter taking your humble station, striking your best posture and watching, with Pollux at your back as the colossal Valthuran submarine docked with the Ostara complex, and its illustrious passengers disembarked to present themselves to the king. You recall the heralds with their banners hoisted overhead, the diplomats in their crimson array, and then you saw him for the first time. A towering man in imposing black armor, bearing a faintly glowing crimson bident spear, his face obscured behind a sculpted helm with the aspect of a bird of prey. He who would receive the accolades, the commission this day. You recall Pollux, unprompted, placing his hand on your shoulder, his grip just a little too tight. You recall his voice, a whisper, barely keeping composure in your ear.
Many times, young prince, you have asked me about your father, how he met his end. The salamandrin fell when you were secreted here beneath the waves. Every time I told you it was useless to speak of such things, that no good would come of it. Well, Cyprian, I admit my error. You want to know your father's killer?
Tell me his name, Captain Pollux.
And then the heralds announced the arrival of Commander Ludo Marianus, 1st Legion of the Empire. And we're going to fade back into the present here. As you, Bunk, and Risubi, I assume back in your mech, having some rudimentary repairs to keep it functional, having left Captain Pollux, now freed, now rescued from his imprisonment, back at Risubi's little dry dock hideaway. The two of you are making your way now back to the rendezvous point where you had agreed with the rest of your party that you would reconvene after the successful heists. That being, of course, the Predator Sanctuary, the shark rehabilitation grounds in the cave systems nestled underneath the grand complex of the Academy of Schoolmasters. So the two of you are kind of winding your way back there. These thoughts fresh in your mind, Bunk. Do the two of you have any words?
I think, as Bunk's kind of sort of just reflecting on like how much has happened between that memory and now. That's been a long 5 years, topside. And after a lot of truth just came out to Risubi at the hideout. I don't ever wish to pry, but you're the only other topsider really Calliope doesn't count. What brought you down here anyway, Risubi? Why tangle yourself up in this?
Without looking at you, just eyes ahead straight in the direction, you can tell Risubi is thinking. Well, vengeance. Mostly. I do no work for the Valthurans. I do no work for Marabas. My time here is self-serving.
As is mine. Though I hope you can understand that in the interest of
hopefully seeing a brighter future for these folk if the name Cyprian Salamander could stay between us. This revolution that's brewing cannot become anything to do with my vengeance. They must remain separate, that I can remain selfish in solitude.
Who is Cyprian Salamandrin?
The last of a dead line.
No, I know. That was a jest.
Oh. Please don't tell Berengaria.
It is very difficult to convey tone and emotion with my current voice modulation.
You don't need to take the blame because I forgot how to laugh.
The two of you slowly make your entrance here, following the directions relayed to you by Berengaria in the sort of lead up, the sort of final planning session before you all went your separate ways from Rhoda's place, the Lonely Light.
I love that you say directions and it was like 100%. All right, so just look for the sharks.
Oh, if that's the case, then from each of you, can I go ahead and get a sort of like, let's say a difficulty 3 sort of wayfinding check here. So this can be an intellect task. So target number 9.
I'm just gonna roll it straight. I'm not even gonna apply anything. I'm following you. Like,
hold on.
This is funny.
Sorry, just intellect to find sharks, Adam.
Oh my god!
Hold on.
What
Never
a
mind.
waste. We rolled a nat 20.
There's the nat 20.
Thanks, Danny.
Like, you're
Thank you,
able to,
Danny.
like,
Thank you, Danny.
thank you so much, Danny. Risuvi, you throw on the like find shark dowsing filter, like over, just like you're reading biosignatures.
I'm reading the electromagnetic pulses that they emit. I'm just like, oh, they're there.
Yeah. So yeah, this thankfully the very sparse directions you received from Berengaria are of no obstacle to you. Without having to really, divert your focus from the conversation at all. You're allowed to kind of let your mind wander here as the question kind of lingers. The question from Bunk about why you're here, what brought you here. Your answer, vengeance. Mostly. And as your mind wanders, we're going to go ahead and follow your thoughts.
Yeah. I'm actually a little I'm actually a little like Risubi is actually just a little bit surprised at how honest and forthcoming that response was.
Yeah. The words that's
what's prompting the flashback here.
Yeah, the words just kind of jumped up and the memory with them. We return to a brief time of transition in your life. Risuvi, it's been more than 3 weeks since the incident. Since the grove that you called home for the entirety of your short life was razed to the ground, since the old life ended, and the newer, stranger one began.
Yeah.
You're scurrying across the choppy underbrush and pebble-strewn wastes of the shorelands, following the sound that you've come to understand means the ocean is near. The ocean, of course, being a theoretical concept your rodent brain could hardly have conceived of before. Now it's a promise. Promise that there might be some answers, some comeuppance.
It has been, like you said, a very odd 3 weeks since the incident. Something has been changing. I am retaining memories. I am understanding patterns more. I am developing complex thoughts and emotions that weren't there before. Really, it was just, is this dangerous? No. Great. We'll just keep doing it. Well, where was my last stash?
Like, where was the last?
Oh no, that's like one of the questions that's that used to be the only thing I cared about. And over the past couple of weeks, after a few days, a sense of sorrow and loss has turned into anger. Something that I've never felt before.
Yeah, I genuinely want to get a grasp here. How far has the sort of mutation progressed in terms of the sort of burgeoning sense of selfhood, sentience, depth of understanding? How different an individual are you now than you were 3 weeks ago?
It's I might be understanding what has happened and what is going on. This mutation has revealed that I might not be a squirrel anymore. Like, I might be the next step of evolution. A huge leap forward in the gradual change of genetics as time progresses. Kickstarted. Much like how, the opening movies of the X-Men franchise talk about how humans are now evolving way faster. I think Risubi understands this. I think I understand this, and it's a sense of loneliness. I've been thrust into the world with no companion to talk about it with no family to console, no friends. They have all perished.
And you're only just now beginning to kind of take on, or like you're only just now beginning to sort of like come into a level of cognition that allows you to even like understand the long form concept of like mourning.
Mm-hmm.
But you have had traveled further in the past few weeks than potentially any squirrel has traveled outside of maybe like an emergency migratory event. Have you developed any tools to help you along the way? Are we watching a tiny squirrel with like a sort of like Inspector Gadget backpack with mechanical arms that kind of like extend from it? Like, or are you not at this point yet?
I think after the first few days, I've started to learn how to defend myself using rudimentary tools. There's an incident with a bobcat in which I picked up some scrap and was able to defend myself, and understanding that there is more than just running and fighting with what I have, what I'm born with. That has started to expand out, and I think I have started to carry my stash of nuts with me in case, so I don't have to keep going to that same place over and over again. I have a means of storing supplies, and have co-opted some of the wreckage from the incident to help me along the way.
Understood. So with these sort of rudimentary pieces of salvaged technology kind of carried in your little squirrel bindle.
Definitely there's a bindle.
You've come upon here the sort of terminus of your journey. You finally reached the shore, the waves lapping on the beach, sort of this new environment, this new biome, completely different challenge in front of you at this point, as the vastness of this previously theoretical concept just becomes reified in front of you as you see kind of sprawling out into infinity this thing where you thought it would be the end of your journey. You see it's the beginning of a whole other one. You also
there
see.
is.
Oh yes.
I've been following the tracks or maybe evidence of the great big monsters from the incident, thinking I would find them here.
Right. Yeah. You've been basically following the same instincts that would allow you to forage successfully to kind of like track down sort of like the resources that would have, allowed you that sort of like base survival in your previous existence. And you realize now that like those will not be enough to carry you forward. You do see something else though here on the beach. What you maybe take at first for like the great exposed sort of decaying rib cage of a giant beast, but which you would now, in the present, you would definitely remember. You're projecting your current knowledge back into this memory. This was an airship, a crashed airship, some kind of like Zeppelin-like structure. The sort of like scaffolding of it, the sort of interior structure, half moldered away, but still providing, some shelter from the elements. It's kind of washed up just out of reach of high tide. And if you could, in this sort of past circumstance, go ahead and just give me a quick just awareness check, an intellect check here. Let's say difficulty 2.
Sure. Do any of my skills apply at this point, or am I still developing them to a point where they?
I would say that, yeah. Let's say the basic skills outside of.
I'll apply eye for detail to this.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So that takes it on down to a 1.
Rolled a 7.
Yeah, and a 7's going to definitely succeed. You can see a figure significantly taller than yourself on the scale. Would this be on the scale of the? Is human scale the scale of the giant monsters from the incident?
I'd say a contingent of them. Yes, there were definitely larger ones that seemed to be way more destructive. That would house these ones, but these would be the most common ones that I would have seen before.
Yeah, on a 7, vastly exceeding the necessary target number. You would recognize even at distance that this one, while definitely not entirely unlike those creatures, still bipedal, still, rather tall compared to you, looks a fair bit older. Maybe a little frailer, definitely not in an aggressive posture, and seems to be kind of tidying something up inside the belly of this giant beast.
Even now, I am wary because of my instincts before.
Right.
Anything bigger than me was a threat, and so that is still coming up against where I am now. But I'm choosing to observe rather than avoid. I think a sense of curiosity is building more and more that I wasn't used to before.
You can see she's dressed in somewhat kind of weathered, a little tattered, kind of like a leather sort of like aviator's cap, and like a big long scarf and what looks like multi-layered, like a tunic over maybe like a longer flowing like robe-like garment. And she has these big work gloves, like big sort of like engineered workman's gloves. And she seems to have been toiling away at something inside the structure, but at this moment seems to be reaching into a little satchel or sack at the tied off on like a rope belt at her side and throwing something out, and you see gathering a bunch of seagulls as they all kind of like flutter down and start feeding right where she seems to be tossing this sort of detritus, this little refuse.
I am hungry. Like my pack has started to run empty. I haven't had time to forage because I've been trying to keep up and follow along with my quarry. And I've eaten what birds eat before, so this should still be good for me. I'm gonna hold off and wait to see if they are fine. Whether or not this is edible.
Fair.
Seeing that it's safe, I will approach and try and secure myself some sustenance.
You trying to be stealthy about this, trying to get in, snatch a little something, and get back into the underbrush. Is that the play?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
All right, let's get a speed task difficulty 4.
Okay.
See if you can do this without being seen.
From
you have
the
to scurry.
past.
Yeah, you have to scurry out from the past. You have to scurry out pretty far out of cover here into like just like the open sand.
Yeah,
This sort of like dune to see if you can get there and get back.
I'm trying to time my movements from when she's looking in my direction versus not. I'm also it's difficult, like to say the least, because I'm also looking out for the seagulls. That's a fail. That is a 9.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Seagulls are nasty.
Yeah, seagulls suck.
You manage to get just close enough to like you get a little paw, reach a little hand paw out there to just kind of snatch like a bunch of sand and maybe like 4 little kernels of corn, basically. And you're raking it in when a seagull just turns eyes, just these beady eyes, unblinking. It snaps its beak once, no sound otherwise, it just kind of slowly unfurls its wings at you.
I drop the kernels that I have and pull out the mini spear that I've crafted.
Yes, absolutely. You have this spear which is like tipped with I'm gonna say it's like a shock implement. It's like a piece of metal that's been like wired up like with jumper cables and attached to like a little battery at the base of the haft.
A single battery.
Yeah, like a double A. And,
Hell yeah.
And as soon as this happens, you're facing off. There's a moment of just like the standoff as you take up your position, the electricity sparking off the tip of your spear, the seagull wary, wings unfurled before you hear some rustling, and then very sudden movement, and then like a stone whisks and just skids across the sand between the two of you, and the seagull takes off. And a bunch of the other seagulls just go flying out.
Yeah, I jump back and see where the rock came from. Spear
and
pointed in that
scurrying
direction.
over, kind of like lifting up her like a pair of skirts. She's this elderly woman, human woman, wearing like this aviator's cap, and she's got this look of just concern, confusion, and like fascination in her eyes. This glint in her eyes. She's clearly getting up there in years, and you can see as she gets closer, unlike any of the other humanoid figures you've seen, she seems to have some sort of remnants or scar of some kind of pretty significant injury, like a cut or gash that kind of goes up through the neck and up to like the ear. And there seems to be some kind of small piece of like metallic square attached here with some wiring kind of spraying out, like almost like a small sort of like augmentation or some kind of prosthesis. And as she approaches, she gets low. Yeah. Do you scurry far away as she approaches, or?
No, I'm still really hungry. So either I eat or I die.
Yeah. She like gets down a little bit and just kind of like squats in front of you and just kind of like stares, and you make eye contact for a moment. There's a little bit of silence, and then you just hear, "My goodness, you are adorable."
I don't understand these words.
No. But she's this big, beaming smile. Are you hungry, little guy?
But the concept of language is starting to form. And so this person is trying to communicate with me.
Yeah. She's this like big smile, mouth unmoving, but the little like the small piece of machinery seems to be kind of like blinking a little bit in time with the noises that are being made. And she's sort of like conveys this, like, "Are you hungry, little guy?" And she reaches into this little pack, this little satchel, and the same one she reached into before, and just very gently, gingerly leaves a little handful of corn kernels right in front of you, and then she just kind of like scoots back a little bit. "It's okay."
I watch this happen. Slowly approach, eyes never moving from this giant individual, and spear in one hand, with the free hand start putting kernels into my sack.
That's right.
Slowly.
Plenty to go around. You can call me Mia Stathis, but mostly just go by Scout. Yeah, Scout. I don't know your name yet, little guy, but we'll figure it out. And this begins, I would assume, like a number of days, weeks. How long does this sort of rapport slowly grow before you accept her increasingly insistent invitations that you come live in this crashed airship with her?
It's surprisingly fast, maybe a couple of days. As I start to understand more of what communication is and how dire the situation, my situation is starting to become, and my purpose here, I'm becoming more and more amenable to getting help, especially if this person doesn't, especially if this person isn't hostile right away.
Yeah. The spirit of cooperation, especially from a humanoid of this scale, is maybe difficult for you to kind of wrap your head around at first, but slowly, yeah. There's no ulterior motive you can sense. And you and Scout, as I said, you form gradually this rapport that lasts for some time. And the calendar flips rapidly forward as the memory fades, and we return to the moment, the present moment, with you and Bunk now entering into the predator rehabilitation grounds, the sort of little Sharktopia, with this place clearly serving an important purpose in the city of Marabas, but one that is perhaps
porpoise?
not an important porpoise, but one that definitely is less than it's not the most attractive position to work here, even if you are a dedicated conservationist and animal activist, like those who staff the Academy of Schoolmasters are, and kind of bring into their fold. It's definitely the job that gets the fewest volunteers, and as a result, it is during most hours, especially sort of these early waning hours of darkness before dawn, completely unwatched. It is not being actively surveilled. It is a place that Berengaria has assured you will serve as a fitting sort of place to rendezvous. And she also assured all of you that you're actually, they're quite nice. The sharks are totally chill. Don't worry about it. So there are several sort of smaller little nurse sharks kind of wafting along the seabed. There are several sort of like, honestly, there's like an elderly tiger shark that's just kind of like floating in one place with a bunch of what looks like old scars, like scar tissue that's long since healed over. And it's just like staring at a wall. And you would assume just like probably asleep. That's just how sharks sleep. like
Gandalf.
Yeah. Oh, no, but yeah, all sharks are Gandalf. That's what we've learned.
At the end of the prancing pony.
So as the two of you kind of make your arrival here, you see you're the first two to make it back. Do you, like, have you been in constant sort of like radio contact with the other members of your party? What's I
thought we decided to stay off of keep radio silence until we all meet up again, because of just what is going on. Like we don't want to be in case they're scanning frequencies or something. I think that's something that Risubi would have suggested if we didn't do it last time.
Understood. Well, the two of you are let's see. I would say the two of you find this place like maybe eerily kind of quiet, a little, if you haven't been in contact with the other members of the party at this point, I would say you've not reached the point where you would have to worry.
Yeah.
But seeing that the two of you did escort Captain Pollux back to your sort of little dry dock hideout, and then as like a detour, and then came here, and you're still the first, maybe a little bit of a cause for concern.
Okay.
Bahari. Bahari, when last we left off with you, you had just kind of come to after this eerie vision, after you communed with Stygia, the phantom jellyfish, and had this strange conversation with a voice from beyond the void. And you woke up in the middle of like an intersection in downtown Marabas with oncoming traffic, and had to play a little bit of emergency Frogger. But
we're becoming an even flatter sea pancake.
A danger flapjack.
Oh yeah.
Oh. But with that particular obstacle behind you, having secured your safety at least for a little bit longer, unsure exactly of how much time had passed while you were in that trance-like state, and completely unaware of what's gone on with the heist that you were supposed to be facilitating. What was your next move?
Desperately trying to figure out, okay, what time is it, and where's everybody else, and is it too late, and can I still help? And oh God, what if because I wasn't there, something terrible has happened? Panicking's not gonna help. Okay, of course I wasn't wearing my watch. Oh, so Bahari's trying to like figure out, grab it. You there, young boy? What day is it?
Today, boy, it's Christmas Day. I will say, it is very much that exact voice from a little like urchin kid who's just kind of like wafting by on the current. It's like, I don't know what you're on about. You're off all right. And
oh man.
I always come back to Charles Dickens. Like, how do we do that? This is undersea cyberpunk. Like, what's going on?
Do you know the prized krill in the window? The one as big as me.
That's right. I want you to buy it. You joshing? No. So I don't know. We need to stop. Bahari, you do have still your sort of like earpiece communicator at this point.
Yeah.
So I would say you have the capacity to try and reach out over a distance of several miles to see if, and it's on an analog frequency. So like,
that's true. So it's unlikely that someone who shouldn't be hearing it is going to be looking on that frequency anyway.
Yeah, it's like direct sort of direct communication only between these particular communicators. They're on kind of a secure channel. So if you wanted to, you could try and reach out at this point.
I think that's probably the safest. Bahari swims into a darker alley than the other alley that she was in. So, even though no one's looking at her, she's just scared because she popped into the middle of the street and everything is like terrifying.
So you're just receding further and further into a Matryoshka doll of dark alleys. Just
This is Bahari. I just got back from, I don't even know where I was. I'm not sure how much time has passed, but something happened and I have to talk to you guys. Where's everyone?
Ooh.
Okay.
Can we hear?
I'm going to say I will leave it up to you all. Did you basically like mute your communicators, or were you still going to accept incoming? Because I think, Risubi, your worry was that any communication over these could be picked up at this point now that you've raised so many alarms. So given that, I'll leave that up to you. Christian, do you think Risubi would have advised everyone to keep this,
I mean, I think it would help to if they do end up using a channel, we'd want to hear it, right? So I don't think it would have been useful to mute completely.
Okay, every single one of you at this exact moment. So Risubi and Bunk, as you're entering the Shark Preserve, and Berengaria and Calliope, as the two of you are just finishing up just a little snack of little kelp chips, as the two of you are just kind of like getting over the initial shock of having barely outswam a speeding bullet train. All four of you at this time get that communication from Bahari.
Bahari, is that you?
Holy hell.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened, but
Are you okay?
I'm okay. I just...
Did they grab you?
No, the Valthurans didn't get me, but someone else did, and I need to talk to you guys. Where's everyone?
Someone else?
Yeah, someone immensely powerful that wants to help us, but didn't have another way of reaching me outside of pulling me through the void.
I would advise not using this channel any longer in case they are swooping frequencies.
Right. So should I go to where we planned without saying anything?
Without, yeah.
Yes, go to the place. Not
Wherever.
the place, but the other place.
Okay.
Either the place we planned or the place we call home, whichever one you're closest to. I don't know if we want you to be out on the street by yourself. They're looking for us, Bahari.
Oh no. Okay. But everyone is all right?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
We're okay. Are you all right? Are you safe?
I think so. Okay. I'll see you guys soon.
If you can't come to us, we'll come get you. Don't worry, you're not alone.
Okay.
And Bunk, I will say, you do, as you kind of cut communications, hear just the voice of, the memory of the voice of Captain Pollux just ringing in your ears, going just like,
I bet you haven't even had them take up code names. You do realize that?
You are not allowed
Speaking
to
of
haunt me.
community-
You are alive now. You're not allowed to haunt me.
No, no, it's fine. Don't mind me. I'm just a professional.
and
It's Pollux and then Ghost Pollux in the same room.
just
What the Caprica 6 is this? Oh no.
Just adding to the stack of regrets I have. Suddenly, I don't know if I feel great about this rescue.
Bahari, yeah, it's difficult for you to tell at a glance whether, like where exactly in the city you've kind of remanifested, or whether you were phasing the entire time. But if you want to give a bit of like a kind of investigate your surroundings, if you want to swim to a higher perch, maybe kind of like up to one of the sort of observation decks of an older, maybe more derelict building or warehouse or something like that, I'd say you can give me a difficulty 3 intellect task here to see if you can get a good grasp of at least the sort of the general district of the city you're in.
Sounds like a good idea. Okay. I can get a little higher up, and if I go in one of these old buildings, no one's gonna look for me there.
Fantastic.
I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Ooh.
And on
no.
a 2,
Oh.
unfortunately, as you kind of crest the sort of into the like an unfinished floor of like a tide scraper that was never quite finished, you can see that you're not in the heart of downtown. You're kind of one of the outer rings of the sort of boulevards that kind of are concentric circles around the central Oasis Tower before it splits off into the 5 districts. But it's unclear, like, where are you, like north, south, southwest, like what side of the city you're on. It's kind of difficult to tell. You kind of turned around still from the disorienting experience. I'll leave it up to you whether you want to start navigating towards the rendezvous point, which you only know as like somewhere near the center of town underneath the massive sort of suspended glass domed campus of the Academy of Schoolmasters, or if you want to go further into the north end of town, into the dorsal district to try and regroup at Rhoda's place.
Okay. I think I want to try to go to the place that's under the Academy of Schoolmasters.
Okay, cool. For that then, just to kind of like sort of city knowledge, sort of just like savoir-faire check. Can you just give me here your choice between intellect or speed, difficulty 3 task to see if you can navigate the city in a way that allows you to kind of like get there in good time.
It's gonna be a 20.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, could I argue that Bahari gets an asset because Bahari is from here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, true. Your senses are coming back. You're a little less dizzy from like this potentially extended phase. I love that, Stella. Bahari, you can lower this immediately. Your asset is just like... no, your knowledge of the city does going to lower that to a 2, so a 6 or higher will do this for you, unless you want to apply effort.
No, I think I got this.
Cool.
Ha-ha!
Hey! All right, not a 12. Okay. All right, so you got a success
I got a fun way for Bahari to figure out which way it is.
Oh, love it.
Okay, I see people with those bags from the new fried dough place. That's where okay. Yep. I'm gonna try that afterwards. But food later, friends first. Yes.
This place is the talk of the town, apparently.
Yep. So taking advantage of your sort of like, you're just naturally kind of easy to miss as when you want to be. You're a little less than opaque. So you just slide right into the crowd. And are able to kind of swim down through the downtown streets, making your way towards the main pillar. As you go, you'd considered returning to the Lonely Light for a moment, but I mean, Rhoda has already gotten herself pretty well entrenched in your business, and well, you've seen firsthand that she doesn't exactly act cool under pressure. In fact, I think given your relationship with her, you maybe have a bit of a vested interest in keeping her safe.
Yeah.
There's one memory in particular.
Freak Rhoda out at all.
Yeah.
Imagine her thinking about this. No.
There's one memory in particular that jumps to mind now, I think. This is from a particularly difficult time for you. You grew up in and around the neighborhood. Rhoda was a fixture, a pillar of the community, someone everyone knew. Everyone kind of liked, although she liked fewer of them in return openly. But you were never like close. You didn't have like an individual relationship with her when you were like really young. However, you were just one of the kids. She looked after you when you were kind of like, playing around in the neighborhood. But there was a certain experiment gone, some would say awry, some would say that scientific results come in many forms, and science works in mysterious ways, and you found yourself for a time, well, in your own words, what were the immediate days after the experiment like?
Terrifying, because it was really hard to stay in one place and to feel like I was still attached to everything, and everyone was talking about me, but nobody was talking to me because they couldn't see me, because it was like being dead, but not really, because people would say, oh, well, she brought it on herself. She shouldn't have been tinkering with those things like she always does, like those people and their little science they like to do. Shouldn't be in a neighborhood. That should be in a factory or in an industrial district. This is a place for families. And the feeling of shame that my family faced because of what I did, and feeling guilty because I just wanted to understand more, and I did understand more, but at what cost?
How many hours, days was it where it seemed as though no one could perceive you in any way?
It felt longer than it actually was, because time felt so strange. But when I came back to being here, it had only been a few weeks to everybody else, but to me, I felt like I had been gone for a year.
It's still to this day the furthest out of phase you've ever gone. And the initial shock of it, again, the time dilation effect, if you know, whether to whatever extent it was a scientific phenomenon or merely a sort of like psychic phenomenon of sort of like the disconnect between perception and reality, that's a profound kind of loneliness. And you do recall that Rhoda, curmudgeonly old chip on her shoulder Rhoda, the barkeep that everyone lovingly put up with, but who never seemed to see you before, was the first person to see you when you came back. You were hanging around outside the lonely light, although to whatever extent you were aware that that was your position in three-dimensional space, it's fuzzy. But you remember her voice.
Kid? Oh, heck, kid, is that you?
Hi.
She's like squinting kind of one eye and just kind of like,
You're kind of there, you're kind of not there. And this might be the Lily talking, but you're different? You're different somehow?
Yeah, I changed my hair.
That's gotta be it, yeah. I mean, you're all kids to me, but like, I feel like I could keep all the kids straight, but it's gotta be the hair. You're different somehow. Well, get on in here, it's late.
and she ushered you in. And that was, I think, the first time that you got to establish maybe a one-on-one rapport, like a connection with her. She kept calling you kid, though. She knows your name now. But she kept the kid bit. And how many years ago was this?
Oh, goodness. At least 15.
Yeah. And I think that's been just a constant in the intervening 15 years, that whether you want to be seen or you don't want to be seen, it seems that you have a much easier time blending in, passing through, going unnoticed. But Rhoda somehow has always seen you. And there's something special about that. That you gotta keep that safe. So with that thought in your head, as you decide to kind of leave her to her own devices and not drag her any deeper into this mess tonight, or this morning, or Wednesday, I don't know. What is time? Time is a flat circle and an illusion. So you slowly make your way, and at this point, Berengaria, Calliope, the two of you, brief radio connection here, bringing you, I would think, a bit of a sigh of relief knowing that all members of your little crack team here yet live. But with the two of you having just grazed by, just like death on rails, taking a moment here to catch your breath in these, again, last couple hours before dawn. How are the two of you holding up?
Right now, Calliope is covered in the cloak given to them by Berengaria, and you just see the cloak, it just keeps puffing up and down as Calliope is very clearly trying to keep their arm together with medical tape. And you see a hand come out from under the cloak and pat around on the floor and grabs a scalpel that fell out and brings it back under the cloak. And
I've got plenty of space in my clam briefcase if you need some.
Even compromised, my chassis is a bit more sanitary. I do appreciate it. I have...
I imagine as you say that, Berengaria opens the clamshell and like the rush of bubbles comes out, and then this like slimy eel-like creature with like tentacles just kind of it just slops out. Fair.
Bahari's alright, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Are you alright?
Well, looking vaguely over in the direction of the train, I will be all right. That was something new for me. Are you okay? Oh, you dropped one here.
Thank you. No, I think actually this is a piece from a children's toy.
Oh.
There's a lot of trash in here. No, that's mine. I'm getting used to this chassis. There's beepers and everything. This is all new. I've actually not seen most of my insides. But that's good. That's good. That could be helpful. I don't know how. I'll have Rasubi take a look at me.
Mm-hmm.
With the two of you here sort of having recovered to the best of your ability in sort of the aftermath of your ordeals, your respective ordeals, having, each of you was involved in a separate heist just mere hours ago. With dawn approaching and what will certainly be the sort of morning rush taking to the sea trams, time is a bit of the essence. So as you start making your move back towards the shark enclosure, the shark chewery, it has many names.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah. Can I get really quickly just a sort of like general awareness check? It's an intellect task, just difficulty 2.
What are you doing?
I will be using one effort. You said difficulty 2?
Yeah, so we'll take that down to just a 1, so just a 3 or higher will succeed for you there. All right, and that's a 6 from Berengaria and a 14 from Calliope. Both of you succeed here. I'm going to say, Calliope, you definitely kind of hear this first, but out of the sort of just one of the many sort of little recessions and like dark alleyways and sort of like the overpass of one of the sea tram lines as you're kind of swimming your way back through the mostly empty streets, you hear distant at first, like and it's sprinting out, like swimming out from the shadows here is a tiny bubblegum pink shark baby. As Frisbee finally reunites with you. Frisbee, of course, having been pretty much like out of sight, out of mind through most of these dual heists.
Really quickly adding to the overlay because I keep forgetting every week.
The live studio audience is clapping and cheering and whistling.
Yeah! Immediately, Frisbee, having tracked you down by scent, a natural hunter, an apex predator, just completely just careens, not slowing down whatsoever, collides into just like the back of your like head, Berengaria, and just kind of like wraps around, like starts swimming circles around your head, and is just overjoyed, clearly.
Frisbee! Oh, I'm so pleased to see you. Give me a cuddle.
Just kind of like just wagging his little tail fin back and forth around. Calliope, you're fairly well acquainted with Frisbee,
yes.
Although the particular coloration on this shark's skin is so unique that I think it probably defies categorization. Either this thing has a strange natural sort of biological mutation that's affected its sort of phenotypical presentation, or it may be due to some kind of maybe in utero contact with like rock corallite, or I mean, yeah, it's definitely a bit of a mystery that like is outside the parameters of your current research, but also deeply exhausting animal.
Kind of absent-mindedly already opening the clamshell briefcase and just handing food over to Frisbee. Well, we must be close. Frisbee likes to stay near the shark sanctuary whenever possible.
Good.
Yeah.
Then we can make haste. Make sure to kind of keep him away from me. There's a lot of moving small parts.
Oh, that won't be a problem at all. And just kind of trailing food.
There's so much food in your bag.
And now, as the two of you also, again, Berengaria, you're one of the very few like enthusiastic volunteers to work the shark sanctuary. So like this path like the back of your hand. The two of you are going to kind of convene in this space as well, and we're going to finally, I think, have the full party back together for the first time in quite some time. As you, the two of you and Bahari, I think, would be showing up, I think, slightly delayed behind the two of you here, but. Before we continue here, I think now might be as good a time as any to take a short break. What do we think?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. We will be back in about 5 minutes. Please join us in doing some stretching and grabbing a snack. Be right back, everybody.
All right. See you in a bit. Swim. And we have returned from the depths. When we went to break here, we had just, I think, witnessed the reconvening of all 5 members of the party for the first time since before they all split off to engage in the double heist, which in canon was what do you think, like probably about 4 or 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago. In real, quite some time. As first Berengaria and Calliope, and shortly thereafter Bahari, kind of swim on into this sort of it's a sort of a vaulted ceilinged porous stone with very like dim flood lighting kind of built into sort of like the base of where the stones kind of meet the sand of the seabed. This sort of like very open, free-flowing kind of cave system built out of the sort of more porous sections of the earth and stone of the Oasis Tower. Here, as I mentioned before, there are just dozens upon dozens of sort of infant and juvenile sharks, as well as several elderly sharks and a few that were kind of rescues, recovering from various injuries. Some look rather intimidating, but at Berengaria's insistence, none of them pose you any threat. So in this sort of very strangely placid space, the 5 of you kind of come back together again, and freely able to communicate without fear of being overheard. What's the first? How's the silence broken?
It's a lot of sharks.
I brought snacks. Calliope and I stopped by a place. Is anyone hungry?
Always.
I am relieved.
I'm glad you're all right. Why do you two look so scuffed up?
Yeah, hello, yes, I'm dying.
What?
They're not dying.
Not dying, that was a bit of a hyperbole. I am falling apart.
Your finger's going the wrong way.
Yes, fully.
Like more than one. I'm just looking at 2 like flamingoed fingers. Like
What happened?
Calliope's in a much better place now. They were leaking knives earlier.
Yes, thanks to Bahari. No, thanks to Berengaria. Everything is wrong. My mental center is scrambled because I overheated myself by blasting full force to escape a train. Everything is fine, but Speaking of Bahari, how are you? What happened to you?
I'm so sorry. I was going to meet you, and then suddenly I was pulled into a void by a being that I still don't really understand, but they wanted to tell us that.
Hold on, darling. How do we know this place is safe? Berengaria, this place is secure?
Look slowly around to the massive sharks just swimming around. We're fine. We're alone.
All right. Sorry, Bahari. Continue. Just didn't want to spill all our beans or anything.
I feel like if there were anybody we didn't want to hear this, they'd have to get through the sharks first.
No, I get it.
I pick up Calliope's finger and hand it to them.
Thank you.
It's just been like wafting along the slow current, like snatch.
The void, you were saying.
We have to be really careful. We were apparently on the wrong path, and it was going to lead to utter devastation for everyone. But the good news,
Wrong path by whose estimation?
Is someone watching us?
That's exactly what I'd like to know.
Yes, but they don't mean any harm. They want to stop the Valthurans because that they know that it's destroying everything. They can feel it happening too. I felt the connection with them the same way that I can go between I don't know how to describe, but there's something that connects all of us together, and certain beings that exist on a plane of existence that can feel all of the different parts of space touching. They can tell when something is wrong and something clearly is not right, and they're trying to help us stop the Valthurans before they ruin everything. And that's what they wanted me to know, that we're not alone and that we need to find someone who can help us. And they gave me a name, and I know that it's a lot to take in, and I wish that I had some way to prove it to you, but it was real and I was there, and that's why I wasn't where I really wanted to be.
I gently...
We all reach our hands to comfort Bahari.
I gently put my hand on Bahari's shoulder. I believe you. I don't know if it's exactly the same thing, but there's something when it comes to the creatures that live here with us. A sense of unspoken between them. They know when something's wrong, and I have filled out rolls and rolls of kelp paper documenting all of the things that have been reported to be going wrong. I believe you. I don't need proof.
Ain't no one questioning your loyalty, Bahari. But if you're being followed and watched by someone who won't show you their face, we gotta worry about that a little bit, all right?
I feel like I saw their face, kind of, but it's not the same kind of face that you or I have. It's more like your energy, if that makes sense. And it's really hard to lie inside your own mind. It's almost impossible.
Ain't that the truth?
So that's how I know that everything that I heard was real and it was true, because when you're connecting with someone on that level, you can't hide anything.
They tell you their name at least?
Yes, but IRL, I'm having a brain fart.
No worries. I don't think they did, actually.
No, the voice never gave you a name. They referred to the phantom jellyfish creature, their emissary that came to contact you, as Stygia. Mm-hmm. But they neither gave nor did you, I think, ask for a name. So...
classic.
I kept asking what, and I never asked who, because I was still just so overwhelmed by how strange everything was. No.
Well, I don't think all's lost by a long measure. They seem to be under the impression that you are willing to accept their help, so it's likely they'll contact you again. And
at least we can get the name then. Maybe learn a little more about them in the process if we want to follow this trail of breadcrumbs they left you.
I think that's the only choice we really have. That and to reach out to the scientist they told me to talk to.
Oh, bells. Let's go with that one first. That sounds easier.
Okay.
I will say this. Bahari, I trust you because you're very smart. You're one of the smartest people that I've met. I just scanned you to see if there was any sort of anything in your system that wasn't there before, any drug or anything, and there's none. You're fine. And if you trust this, then I'm trusting you, but when it comes time to talk to this whatever again, I sound so robotic. When you have to talk to this force, this creature again, or to talk to the scientist, when we seek out answers, we need to not give answers, because this all, it sounds amazing. It also exists within the Valthuran Counterintelligence Manual.
What do you mean?
Well, if there is a rebellion, Valthuran Counterintelligence is trained to infiltrate that rebellion, to get more knowledge, get insider information, so that they can then dismantle the operation. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but you need to be careful.
Well, luckily I didn't say anything about what we were doing because I was overwhelmed by what was happening to my brain.
Sounds like you didn't need to.
I didn't.
Sounds like they knew a lot more than you needed to volunteer.
Exactly. And they said something about how they were able to reach me because I can exist between the veil and what's here. So that was how we connected. And they may not be able to talk to others in the same way. What were you saying, Rasuki?
I have my reservations. However, guidance would be much appreciated.
Or hell, at least an ally.
I advise we follow this path warily.
And together, I would say. I don't really want them taking you off by yourself again, Bahari.
I am just glad that you were not captured by the Valthuran.
Me too.
Yeah.
The only thing they advised was caution, so we wanted to be cautious anyway.
We broke 1,000 people out of the prison.
That's great.
Sure did.
Where are all the people?
Scattered. It was kind of a bit of an explosion, and then all the walls tumbled down, and then security forces were encroaching. So the best thing was to haul ass and get everyone out of there.
Well, I bet they can't catch everybody if they all got out at once. That was actually really good, really smart.
They aren't. Sorry, go ahead.
I do feel a bit of regret. We did not guarantee everyone's safety as we speak. Valthuran authorities are searching for escapees. Not everyone will have places to hide or shelter.
I don't think we could guarantee everyone's safety, but they have a better chance on the outside than they did on the inside, and I think that's what really matters.
Agreed.
Agreed. And if it's any comfort to y'all, it's kind of the same principle as when you're trying to do any sort of counter-strike, revolutionary protest. Stereotypically and usually forces like Valthur's can handle one protest. They can't handle three. Same with the jailbreak. The more different access points and different targets you give them, the harder it is for them to catch people. So we did our best. It's the best we can offer right now with such a small force.
I gave them my serial number. I broadcasted, and the information that there was 5 of us.
Why?
I want to say it just happened. I was connected to the broadcast remotely. I had another plan that I thought maybe could work.
You were compromised.
And as such, so are we.
They don't know your names.
This was the gamble. I am sorry.
I'm so sorry. Is there something in your base code we could help you rewrite so this doesn't happen again?
No, because that would kill me.
Okay.
I could take a look. I'm mostly a hardware specialist. But firmware and software, I have a rudimentary understanding.
I'll let you take a look. I actually need your help anyway, with all of the bits and pieces of me.
I pick up a full kneecap with like propellers that has just floated away as you've been talking and hand it back.
I offer my clamshell briefcase to Rasubi. Take anything that you need. There's a lot in there. Maybe something will be helpful. And I do believe someone that could help us should be nearby.
You rang, and immediately,
Yes!
a part of the far cave wall kind of wavers as though there's like a camouflage that's being dispelled, and you can see that part of that is actually an observation room that has been kind of like decommissioned, where originally like basically it's a dry space for non-aquatic researchers that could basically take up a position to observe through a two-way mirror the sharks in their recovery habitat. Berengaria, you definitely like broke into the sort of like building documents and like took just an eraser to like the blueprints and just like made sure nobody uses or knows that this particular observation room is here anymore, because you had a certain friend that you needed to put up. Inside, kind of on the other side of this little two-way mirror, now sort of like fully transparent glass, is a remarkably well-sculpted, muscular, shirtless but for suspenders, a tiger, anthropomorphic sort of tiger humanoid, with a set of sort of like 3 golden ring earrings in his right ear, and just this just completely winning grin, arms crossed, just kind of waiting for his entrance here. This is Scritches, your particular sort of like your ward, as it were, Berengaria, a friend of yours, someone who you're putting up for a while. He's going through some shit, and also a rather talented tailor and costume designer who
Yep.
helped with some very, I will say, adventurous disguises that you used earlier in this evening's heist.
Bunk, Rasubi, this is Scritches, responsible for our disguises.
Our chef tiger bounty hunter costumes.
Pleasure to meet you all. To be fair, I was at the time not informed that this was going to be used for any kind of subterfuge. My dear friend Berengaria informed me that, well, basically it was a very hastily scrawled note slipped under the door, something about need costumes too.
I thought it would be best to leave out as many details as I could. I look proudly over
everyone.
at Bunk.
You're correct, Berengaria. Everyone knows the proper way to run a heist is by choose your own adventure. So I'm very glad you gave that brief to Scritches.
In the interest of security, I understand your motivation. However, in the interest of, well, frankly, I was not expecting your exploits while wearing my work to be broadcast on the. You're all famous, by the way. Well, you're not famous. Your exploits are. You're on the telly. And he kind of just gestures behind him, and there's like a little like CRT screen that you hooked him up with, Berengaria.
It's like an antenna.
Yeah, it definitely has like the bunny ears antenna, and through like the sort of hazy static.
Fish tail, thank you.
A fish tail antenna. And incredible. I will say, you can. He like hits a little like a push to talk sort of like sound sort of like interface to basically like broadcast the sound from the screen out into the space you all are in, and you can hear coming in through the static like a. It sounds like a very sort of dramatic, sort of like breaking news headlines. And it's shortly before dawn, so this would be basically like the early edition news, but they definitely have like what looks like a full complement, like full production, several investigative reporters on the scene. It looks like there's a bunch of emergency submersible vehicles and like Valthuran Marines kind of moving and milling about in the background. And you can see actually an interviewer sort of like host, I believe actually this is one of the hosts of Marabas Tonight, this sort of very like square-jawed merfolk gentleman with these sort of like fanning out fin-like ears and this sort of like bouffant of just like turquoise hair. And so you catch kind of in the middle of the broadcast as Scritches turns it up. Chaos this morning at the MNBS headquarters, where a brutal attack by violent dissidents carried out under cover of darkness has left some employees shaken and others missing. This, in conjunction with the stunning destruction of the Ropalia Imperial Penitentiary under suspicious circumstances, has authorities scrambling to respond. We have an interview coming up, an exclusive, with someone who was on the scene. Like, do we have a clip? We have a clip. And it cuts briefly to just like really just kind of like shaky kind of like handycam footage of Rascal, the urchin folks. And the next thing I know, I pick up the briefcase and I am out cold. This is some super spy shit, okay? We are dealing with some high-level operatives. What pans back. Here with us now is none other than Viceroy Cadmus Kyrule. As Viceroy, what is the Crown's response to allegations that this is a coordinated strike by Doravesia? And kind of whip pans over, and there is none in the full body, like the aquatic hard suit, sort of like brass and gold and crimson with the full like resplendent headdress, is the Viceroy himself, previously seen on the billboards and screens in downtown at the site of the sort of explosion at the parade grounds that kind of ruined the 50 years of friendship parade. But here, much more composed. And, well, while we can neither confirm nor deny involvement by any actors in league with Doravesia or any other enemy states, Sonaspar and Valthuran coalition forces are nonetheless taking these attacks extremely seriously. And I would like to address any concerns about the premiere at next week's opera at the Le Guin Academy of Music and Performing Arts. We will not bow to the demands of violent dissidents and revolutionaries. We will stand strong, and we will celebrate the arts and culture of this beautiful city and its people. We will stand strong, and we will stand together. And this just mealy mouth, bullshit just goes on for a while. As we just pan back to all of you, just like the glare of the screen reflected on your faces, and Scritch is like, "See, I told you."
Oh.
They are scared. This is good.
They think we're gonna go after an opera. I mean, it might just be funny just to kind of prove them right.
Well, if we keep them busy, won't it help others stay safe? Maybe
Just keep them on their toes, keep them looking at us. It's probably a good idea.
As long as we keep ourselves safe so that we can continue the fight. That's the most important thing. Yes, we have to plague them endlessly, but also in a way that gives us space to retreat, because I think the most important thing is that we see this through to the end. That
Agreed.
we focus on the goal, the overall goal of getting them out of power, getting them out of Sonaspar.
First goal, I think.
Distracted.
First goal, I think, if I could speak plainly of my ambitions here, would be to keep good to our word and douse the torch. I think if we can keep our promise and show the people, that would give people a lot of hope and belief that we can do more.
As long as it can be done in a way that doesn't endanger others.
From the explosion itself, I think that's probably feasible. Adam, how much do I know about actual mechanisms for how the Ostara complex is docked to the torch, which is then docked to the Oasis?
So, what you would understand about the construction, personally having spent much of your younger years in the Ostara complex, as we recently kind of touched on, the Ostara complex is not anchored permanently to the torch, which is itself a modular piece of equipment that was installed on top of the Oasis with the coming of the treaty. Ostara is a mobile platform. It can actually, it could basically be turned into an armada-sized sort of mobile colony or city. But it is locked in with several basically there's an intense sort of web of tensile sort of almost high-tech rope-like braided cords that kind of are resistant to the sort of sway of current, as well as a sort of multi-linked sort of metallic claw binding, which holds in a vacuum seal the sort of piping of the torch, sort of which is itself just a pipeline for refined corallite that holds it in place. You're not sure by what mechanism you could safely detonate that without basically risking the entire structural integrity of the Ostara floating city, and you have no idea where you would get ordnance that powerful.
Right.
And you also are not super clear on whether it's an exact copy of the same sort of anchoring devices on the receiving end in the sort of earth and stone column of the Oasis itself.
I was hoping, actually, Bahari, that we could have a talk about that. I think it would be important for folk to see it go up. But if you could render the correlate within it inert so that it doesn't devour the city with the blast, and mostly it's just a lot of glass. Maybe a few fireworks.
I think I just had an epiphany for Subi. If we work together, do you think we could build a device that could convert the coralite energy from the detonation and have it pass through? It's impossible to make it completely inert, but if the energy can be transmitted in a way that diffuses and becomes something else, as opposed to becoming an explosion. I think I have to run some tests, but I think we might be able to do this.
Feasibly, I believe we might be able to change the polarity to be less destructive. Not necessarily be less destructive, but invert the reaction.
Primary goal, I think we can all agree, would be to decouple Ostara from anything to do with life below us. Basically unmoor them from Sonaspar. That's the message we're sending here. It's their invitation to leave us kindly.
Bunk, I know you want a large, flashy reaction. Several small reactions may be more effective. Perhaps a dissolving agent for the cables, as opposed to one large explosion that could potentially have greater fallout.
We could make it look flashy if we convert the energy to light instead of having it be a detonation. And that
I was
way,
hoping you'd say that.
it doesn't hurt anyone, but it can be seen for miles as it detaches. This is going to take a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of patience, but I think that is what they were trying to tell me, that we have to focus on not just getting the enemy out, but doing it in a way that doesn't destroy everything.
Agreed. Have any of you heard of flechette rounds?
Is it something you can eat?
It sounds
No.
like something you can eat.
It does, I would agree with that, but it's actually something very deadly, used against Valthuran soldiers in the war in the Salamandrian kingdoms. Now, those are rounds meant to stay, meaning they embed, and surgery is needed to excise them. They are a foreign body. Calliope rips like a little hole in the bandage and takes out a scalpel and swims over to the tiger shark. Berengaria did this one right here. You see the scar? To remove any barbed object, an incision needs to be made. Wherever the barbs enter the flesh, or in this case, the ground, it needs to be decoupled, freed, so that the excision of this object does not cause further damage, because that is the point of flechette. That is the point of things built to stay where they are put. That's the point of the torch. So,
See what you mean?
I'm beginning to wonder about that, though. If it's true they're building another refinery, do you think they would take Ostara there?
likely they would. They don't have to.
When do you think they would do that? What does that mean for the reef here? We might be on a timetable here. It's possible we
accelerate the depletion so that they can. No.
That's what I was worried about, unfortunately, yeah.
The entity you spoke to, Bahari, mentioned a scientist that we were to talk to. I would be very interested to communicate with this scientist. Is it someone you recognize?
I haven't met them, but I think I know where I can find them.
You would recall the name Milo Finnerty, and that the phantom voice let you know to seek him out at a greenhouse in the Lepets district called Anubius Gardens.
All right. Do you want to come with me to meet him at the greenhouse?
I very much would.
What is your secret contact? Is he a gardener?
No, he's a scientist.
Like a botanist?
At this point, too, Berengaria, you have you see Scritch is just kind of gesturing for you to maybe like approach a little bit.
I go up to the glass.
Incidentally, Berengaria, what is the going rate for aiding and abetting a revolutionary activity? We never discussed the matter of payment, you see. You were speaking about something about fried dough, is that correct? Something you eat? Food would be nice.
Bahari?
Oh, Bahari reaches into her voluminous pockets. I actually stopped on the way there. I got a pack of 12. Would you like some?
That would be incredible. I cannot stress enough the degree to which I am sick of kelp. I am a carnivore by nature, but I will settle for dough.
That's the quote for next session.
And as you're kind of discussing the possibility of going into making contact with this mysterious scientist, perhaps gardener, all of a sudden the television screen flickers again, and there's a big breaking news that kind of cuts across the screen, and you can see that we're back in the main newsroom now outside. Before they were kind of outside the wreckage of the Repelia Imperial Penitentiary. Now it's kind of back in the broadcast headquarters. Little eerie Calliope for you to see, kind of where you had just been snooping around on that soundstage. But yeah, the Marabas Today crew this time cutting in. We have some stunning developments here as the chaos throughout the capital seems to know no bounds. Further developments as we have reports of, like checking like an earpiece, violent riots breaking out at the Metropolitan Coralite Refinery. Yet, we do have word that Valthuran and Sonaspar coalition forces are moving in to quell the disturbance and keep the peace. We had known for some time that there were rumblings of unruly and unregulated labor resistance. Now we know the consequences thereof. We will try and get direct footage from the scene as soon as possible. For now, we advise all law-abiding citizens to avoid the Dorsal District while the peacekeeping efforts are underway. Once again, violent riots underway now at the Municipal Metropolitan Coralite Refinery. More as the story develops.
Well, I don't know about all of you, but I ain't never been law-abiding in my life.
Not at all.
Sometimes the law is wrong.
Shall we?
I'd love to pour some fuel on the fire.
And with that,
Yo!
what Bunk said ringing in all of your ears as you kind of, are we suiting up? Are you moving in? Because this is in fact the wildcat strike of the refinery workers that you had been, like that was a big part of your broadcast over the hijacked emergency waves. Support the striking workers, support the labor movement. And the attacks on the other two locations were to draw off military support so that, the full brunt weren't immediately smacking down these striking workers. You've got an opening. You have wedged open wide the jaws of the Empire at this moment. They are spread thin. What's the move?
I say we go to the action.
I do that full cowboy spin with my pistol, but I'm underwater, so it's a little slow, so I've got to like hurry it along. And then I put it back in the holster.
Calliope, do you have all of your limbs attached before you run off to go help people?
Yeah, the elbow is fully the wrong way. And Calliope
Yeah, really quick, I want to see, like, is there anything in Berengaria's bag that can help me in fine-tuning and making sure that Calliope is at least battle ready?
Okay, so when you open the clamshell briefcase, which has always just been like slightly propped open, perhaps you fling it open for the first time, you absolutely see what could only be described as someone is having a yard sale and they've shoved everything into a briefcase, and then there's like a small like manila folder of paperwork, but they're all like crumpled up now.
Amazing. This is so good.
Perfection.
And also a fish kind of escapes.
Yeah, like a lone, just like a minnow, just flutters away.
I don't even know where I live now.
I will try and MacGyver like the end of this toothbrush into like a flathead screwdriver, or and alter this portable hair dryer, I guess, or not hair dryer, like straightener into something that can do some very rudimentary soldering.
Yeah, that's incredible.
To help out.
That's so good. This is gonna be.
He's like, I have duct tape.
Yeah. Oh.
Duct tape.
She would too. Just like in the pouch. Yeah. like the big industrial roll.
I think as a group, we try just help out.
So
Bunk's only offering is just anything that falls off just becomes a cudgel, so it's useful that way.
Berengaria's like applying paint.
Oh yes.
Racing stripes.
Risubi, this is a mechanical engineering check, intellect task, difficulty 5. You are working with extremely difficult to use materials that are not meant for the task. However,
That's
an
what I
asset
thought.
comes from the help that you've received from Bahari, taking it immediately down to 4.
Down
Okay.
to 4. General knowledge, okay? And
You have mechanical engineering knowledge. You have that training. So yeah, go ahead and take it down to a 3.
Does it help if Berengaria comes back with a bucket full of shark teeth?
You're gonna put shark teeth on.
This is spring break Calliope.
Oh, okay. I mean, here's what I'll say is,
I present the bucket to Calliope.
this does not count as an asset. However, if the roll succeeds, you may incorporate as many shark teeth into the stitching or whatever.
I'll take it.
And if the roll fails, you can definitely have just a real sick shark tooth necklace.
Calliope looks at Berengaria, down at the shark teeth, and then up at Risubi and says, "Yeah, fuck it."
Like pauldrons.
Calliope says, "Fuck it, I will attach." I will apply 1 level of effort to this.
Mad Max Sonaspar looking out here.
Yes.
No, I rolled a 3.
Can I please give you? I'm
XP.
gonna give you something. I'm giving you my XP.
I have. Okay. I have an XP I can spend.
This is
Now,
my body we're talking
For
about.
the audience,
Wait,
the party
wait.
has used a lot of experience to advance their character a little bit between sessions. So experience might be a little slimmer now.
I will use my experience to pay for this because what Berengaria does is shake the bucket of shark teeth. More shark teeth.
Oh my god.
That makes sense. It makes sense to me.
Just
Use what you
scritches
have.
under his breath,
What
just kind of
about
picking his
symmetry?
teeth with his Scritch is just kind of picking his teeth with one of his claws, just watching. There's that's awfully tacky, my dear. That's awful.
Just a slow head turn.
It's camp. It's camp. Okay, it's camp. All right, there we go. 18.
18, incredible. Ooh,
Wonderful.
Oh, you got a special.
18.
Ooh.
On an 18. Let's give a little something special here. I'm going to say a weird alternate universe positive GM intrusion.
Okay.
Yeah. The roll succeeds. You can go ahead and perform the equivalent of another free recovery roll right now, Calliope.
Mm.
So again, just another d6 plus 1 you can apply to your pools however you like.
2 points is good.
Okay. And we'll say cosmetically, you can work as many. Listen, this is up to Risubi and Berengaria. You incorporate these shark teeth however you want. You have a few minutes.
Does Calliope have a mouthful of shark teeth now? Like Melina?
Like Melina. I hope not.
Oh God. Calliope,
Yeah,
at one point, Risubi with this makeshift soldering iron definitely makes some kind of unintended contact with some system system essential wiring, very much like a game of Operation gone awry.
Do I jump a circuit? Is that what's going on?
Yes, jump a circuit, and immediately, Calliope, your cognition is shot back to a formative moment.
Oh.
You replay a memory that you have not been able to fully recall in its clarity till this moment. We return. We return to the laboratory of Dr. Irsa Brishik, the sort of inventor of the proprietary technology that makes up your CPU, your various sort of mental and cognitive functions, as well as the form factor of your chassis. your vision kind of fades in as the memory plays out in front of you as though it's happening in real time. You can hear kind of echoing. You're in some kind of tube-like, sort of like canister or chamber. It's a diagnostics programming is running through. Basically, there's different like beams of light that are kind of cascading down and kind of scanning various systems. You recognize yourself in kind of like in a boot mode right now. Your vision and auditory functions, your senses are operational, but you are not able to sort of like in this moment or in this recollection, you're not able to kind of interact at all. But you can see your creator leading someone else into the space, actually a trio of people into this corner of the laboratory. She looks downcast, eyes on the floor, glancing up, meets your gaze for a moment, as though kind of clocking to make sure that she left your visual receptors operational for this, like she needed to get something recorded. Gives like an almost imperceptible nod to herself, half to you. And you can barely make out what she says, which is based something to the effect of, like, here's the subject. And then you can see the three figures kind of in shadow as they move up close to inspect you. And you see a much younger looking, lab coat bedecked Agatha Ferris, flanked by two Valthuran Imperial scientists, just kind of like rubbing her chin a bit. Well, the design is rather elegant. The initial intelligence we received seemed to imply that, while not ready for mass reproduction, the unit is quite adaptable, yes? Calliope, you're reliving the moment that the Valthuran Empire sent its envoys to claim you as your design to replicate for military technology. And you now can recall with perfect clarity that, in fact, you have come face to face with Agatha Ferris once before. And that before you were a Valthuran naval ordnance. You were a prototype, and one that she took a very particular interest in. Well, see that your research continues apace. We will be in touch. And just a few recommendations. We may need to consider alternative chassis for future operations. We have contracts with the Navy, you see. It'll need to be aquatically viable. And the vision kind of fades out, and you return, jolting back as all of this happens over a split second as Risubi kind of hits that triple wire. Yeah, but you are otherwise repaired within a certain amount of functionality. And do they have like a bunch of shark teeth all over? Like, let me know how that actually functions here. Like,
so when they snap back, they immediately the now repaired to full speed and full operational arm,
fully operational,
fully operational, grabs one of the mantis arms that's currently working and says, "That'll do. Thank you." The camera, as Calliope turns and feels their back, the back is kind of lined with shark teeth, just the parts that like fit into the back panel.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's fantastic. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Aquatically viable.
What?
Nothing.
It's a puzzle to solve.
Speaking of puzzles and pieces, what need putting in things, I pull out my gun, which no longer has a core light core. I sacrifice something precious in the line of duty. If any of you give any Sonaspar guards what for? try to get the core of their gun. I would like to repair mine.
Oh, do you need a spare core light core? I have a couple from work. Let me see how big your gun is.
She totally would is the
deep ass
thing.
pocket. No,
Two
yep.
batteries just
That's on my sheet.
The blank, the things I've done for these cores, energy,
Yeah, you're
like
just
going through
like,
a book right now.
Oh, you need another one? Here you go.
I almost blew myself up to get one. Yes, I do need another one. Thank you. Is it military ordnance grade?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah, I want my gun.
Yes. Oh, incredible.
I like to imagine that Bahari's like on one side of bunk, like just handing this over, and then Berengaria's on the other side of bunk with the bucket of shark teeth and just kind of offers it with a shake.
You know what? Wildly, I will actually take a huge fistful of those in case I need to do what I did in our tutorial session where I
shark teeth
loaded
buckshot.
a bunch of buckshot into this gun. I will actually, hell yeah. I'll put them in a little pocket.
All right. Well, if necessary, at heavy risk of jamming your gun for the remainder of whatever encounter, you could do like a cone attack of just like firing coralite infused shark teeth in a spread maneuver.
What have I done?
It's gonna be so good.
Wild. Okay.
One more thing. Yeah, Calliope is watching all of them like move on from Calliope to Bunk's gun, and they're just like grabbing random crap. And Calliope looks down at where there's paint on their left shoulder from Berengaria.
Oh.
Remembers that memory now, which is new to them, of them being stuck with metal arms holding them up to be displayed. Remembers them not being able to move their eye, but seeing and hearing everything being talked about by a product. And then flashes back to right now and looks out to all their friends and like all the little markings on their body and imperfection. Is just like, I am adaptable. And swims off.
Oh, god damn it.
God damn it.
nice.
And with
I want to go
that,
goof stuff up. Let's go.
the five of you, this could be the moment that a spark catches and a few people acting with extreme like lack of caution, with extreme adventurous spirit, maybe that can catch on and this can turn into a movement. But that depends heavily on whether or not the movement survives this dawn. So as the five of you leave this space, are you gonna like move off in formation? Are you gonna head like straight to the dorsal district towards the sort of the picket line at the refinery where all of you met?
Before we leave, I want to turn over to Bahari and Berengaria. If it is likely there will be combat out there, it is also just as likely that it is not a violent riot. But we must assume both and be prepared for both. Are you two okay being in a combative scenario?
I think the best way I can help is by shielding people who can't fight, or by making the weapons inaccessible to those who are using them against innocent people. I've been practicing.
Musical.
Okay. If it's okay, can I describe like the last like scene of the night?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. As Rasubi poses that question, Berengaria just smiles quietly.
Oh.
And I think the camera kind of pulls back and we just see like Rasubi silhouette and then like all of us, right? And then behind Rasubi are just these towering, large, bulbous shapes of the sharks, and they're all just in a line. We won't be going alone.
Incredible. And as the five of you, backed up by several, like a dozen or more healthy, like juvenile, but still like very bitey little guys, you kind of begin to make your way out of this sanctuary area and moving kind of in coordination. What I will say is, Berengaria, if you want to make use of this, I will have to suggest that you would have to kind of shepherd the sharks kind of from a rear position, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can commute and I don't know what the basic what the parameters of your sort of like speaks with beasts abilities are, like how many you can communicate with at a time. Could you kind of give me a sense of that?
Yeah, it is narratively, mechanically only one, but I like to imagine that Berengaria goes,
Yes.
And
Yes.
the other sharks kind of make space as a big boy comes sliding forward.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. It's the tiger shark. You woke up the tiger shark. It's it's a big old boy. But
this counts as a level 2 creature.
Oh shit.
Nice.
That's so good. Okay. You can give sort of like direct sort of like commands or directions to kind of like have a level of sort of tactical control in a combat situation over this creature. I will say then everyone else will kind of take point, and then Berengaria, you would basically kind of have to take up the rear and give like a little bit of like constant directions here, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. In that case, as all of you begin swimming out from the shark sanctuary, leaving Scritches kind of, in his little observation, well, have fun, violently riding. Sounds like a treat. Risubi, Bunk, Calliope, Bahari, you just kind of take off, keeping like single file, keeping low, moving as quickly and stealthily as you can out from the sort of main, sort of like the darker alleyways of the center of downtown. Berengaria, you kind of give the order to this tiger shark. We got a name. Does this tiger shark have a name?
Obviously it has a name.
Let's do it. Yep.
Let's do it.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
The fuck? Why is the top name on this top 50 shark names list soy sauce?
Soy sauce.
Soy sauce?
What the fuck? The second one is Liam.
Liam?
No.
Bart?
How
That
about
sucks.
maybe Gunter?
Gunter.
Gunter
I'm thinking
Tiger
like-
How about
I'm thinking like-
Merlin?
I was thinking like
Merlin. Kickball. Merlin kickball.
Oh, we gotta make a call. This is important.
I like Merlin.
I do like Merlin pretty. Yeah,
All right, so you can kind of
but that's
telepathically.
Berengaria's. That's Stella's call.
Oh god. Soy sauce is so awful that it's good.
It's weirdly
Maybe
good,
that's
right?
that's why it's at the top.
Yeah,
Everyone
maybe it's
discovered
fate.
that.
Yeah.
Soy sauce.
Come on.
Soy sauce. Awaken.
Hanzu, rise.
And yeah, given the order, soy sauce just rockets ahead and actually like sprint swims ahead of everyone else. Just like one eye much open much wider than the other. He's got like this kind of underbite with these jagged teeth. One just
Does
kind
it
of takes
smoke
off
a
ahead.
pipe?
It looks like it definitely could. And Berengaria, you kind of move to take point at the rear here behind everyone with, you know, now a vanguard shark at the head of this of your party. And for the end of the night, I'm going to take a bit of a GM intrusion here. So this will close the loop. Berengaria, you make sure to lock up behind you. You make sure to like take all necessary security precautions. You make certain that no one will know that you and your friends have taken up residence here. It's a routine for you at this point. You've been keeping Scritches safe for a long time.
Coast is clear.
And moving to make up the gap between you and your friends who are just disappearing into the darkness ahead. As you crest around one particular rock formation, you hear the cocking of a pistol. And out from the darkness, barrel of a gun, and stepping out from the shadows in full submersible gear, Detective Inspector Damien Belisar.
Oh
No.
my God. With his freaking coffee cup cigar combo in the other hand.
I was thinking we should finish that interview. And that is where we're going to pick up next time.
Oh my god!
Oh, shit. Oh, butts.
I'm in danger.
Oh, the shark, Berengaria!
Don't worry,
You're
you
gonna have
got
to
that.
jump him while Calliope watches and just sip some tea.
Oh, we should have called the shark back up. That would have been funny.
And then Damien Belisar will look at it and look back at you and say, like, this campaign's really jumped the shark.
Oh, yeah. Yep, fantastic. By the way, didn't mention it in the moment, but for every single person who had a flashback, that counts as giving you XP for a GM intrusion. So go ahead, everybody go ahead and take an experience point.
Thank
Yo.
You did
And
intrude.
also, I did. And by the way, for Bunk, go ahead and take the Subtle Cypher Reflex Enhancer.
Okay.
The memory that you jogged here kind of, I think, would kind of awaken a little bit of potential in you, kind of recalling the first moment you came face to face with Ludo Marianus, the man who killed your family. That is, we can go over the mechanics of this whenever, but you roll a d6 to determine the level of it, and all tasks involving manual dexterity, such as pickpocketing, lockpicking, juggling, operating on a patient, defusing a bomb, anything like that, are eased by 2 steps for 1 hour when you make use of this.
Love that.
Wow.
Hey,
Happy
Tanks.
birthday!
Happy birthday.
Can all my friends have
Go
birthday
do
presents too?
crime.
Oh.
Risubi,
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
your journey down memory lane also is going to kind of awaken a little bit of potential in you. Take the Subtle Cypher Intelligence Enhancement. All of the user's tasks involving intelligent deduction, such as playing chess, inferring a connection between clues, solving a mathematical problem, finding a bug in computer code, and so on, all are eased by 2 steps for 1 hour. And however, the hour after that, the strain will hinder the same tasks by 2 steps. So it's basically a little bit of give and take.
I love it.
Real
I
good
love
for
it.
an hour, but then you're kind of taking it back. I will say for Calliope, remembering that, having that moment kind of like forced into your memory, remembering being in that sort of like dampened, sort of like sound dampened environment is going to force to come online in your systems a sound dampener cipher, which dampens all sound within the immediate range for 1 minute per cipher level. Will determine the cipher level. It's you roll a d6 and add 2. And that provides an asset on any stealth actions you take against creatures in that immediate area.
ooh. Thank you.
Yes. Bahari, for your particular sort of ruminations on the beginnings of your close relationship with Rhoda, go ahead here and take, I love this one too much. Go ahead and take Perfection.
I love that
You
one
have-
so much too.
You're just perfect now.
A Subtle Cypher For one
an
moment,
auto 20, right?
you can basically recall that warm memory and say, I don't have to roll, I get a nat 20 on this one task.
Oh.
Wow.
It's the one I
Saving
got
that
to
one up.
when I got to give Berengaria their staff back. That was a perfection one that I got to use. It's very
Nice.
handy.
Yeah, incredible. And we will see, depending on how Berengaria fares with her particular in sort of GM intrusion here, whether or not you succeed on kind of weaseling your way out of this one, if you can come out with a Cypher in hand as well. But we'll have to figure that out next time. That will do it for us.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Just break his hand again, please. Like, just keep breaking his hand.
Break the
same hand over and over again. At some point, it's gone.
No.
Oh.
I might just do that. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Really, really appreciate all the show of support and everyone hanging out with us. Big kisses, big hugs. We're going to go around real quick, and please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and what your favorite part of today's episode was. And we'll start with Christian.
Hello, my name is Kappa, and Christian's good too. You can find me on Twitter at the Kappa Chris. If you like what you saw today, that's probably the best place to follow me for, I don't know, just my brand of humor and stuff I care about. And also I update whenever new projects that I'm in start coming up. And there will be stuff coming up. I don't know if I can talk about them right now. But my favorite part, I played Risubi today, the perceptive warrior who needs no weapon or sneaks. It really depends on when he's in the suit or not. My favorite part, I loved when we all got back together. All the ideas and personalities coming back together is still good. I don't know, I just like the dynamic that our team has. So it was great finally getting to be in the same scene together, not necessarily the same room, but yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We'll hop on over to Z.
What is up? This is Z, aka Zach. You can find me on Zach Devs. Tonight was so fun. I've been playing Calliope, the sharp-eyed adept who fuses mind and machine. I loved having everyone here. You're so right, Christian. What was my favorite scene? Or my favorite thing in general? I'm gonna give a well-needed shout-out to Stella's production skills.
Yeah.
There's a lot, if you're watching right now, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that Stella has to like go this cam, that cam, and fully they're just listening to like the cues of Adam talking through what scenes we're going through. It's a lot of work to do as a player, because as a player, I'm just kind of focusing on what I'm doing, but Stella's doing two things. So yeah, special shout out to Stella for the production.
You. I appreciate that.
Oh my.
So I blush. Oh my.
Oh no.
We're gonna have a tea.
I got none of that. Well, what?
Yeah, what?
I think that's Jay's
Was
cue.
that
I
English?
think that's Jay's cue, I think.
I think that's Jay's cue.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Jay Justice. You can find me at that Jay Justice right here on Twitch, because I do some streams and some things, and also on Twitter where I post the occasional cosplay, but lots of really fun gaming accessibility things, because I do game dev. So you can see me on PlayStation's accessibility spotlights. And I play Bahari, a creative adept who exists partially out of phase. And my favorite part tonight was everyone getting to do their own thing as part of the team and like working together and figuring out the plan and the solution, the synergy. It was just so good, such good vibes. And of course, Adam's amazing DM skills just absolutely killing it.
Yes.
100%. Excellent, thank you. I'm still Luna. If you are here, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I play Berengaria. My favorite scene was I loved having Bahari back, and
Yes.
I love how when we had the scene where everyone was together, we all went Bahari. We all talked over each other.
Bahari must be protected.
Oh, it was so sweet. And yes, thank you so much, y'all. Oh my god. All this heart-wrenching shit. Oh,
Yeah.
you know it's only gonna get worse in the best
Oh, yeah.
possible way.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for next week, y'all. I'm so excited. I can't wait to make every single one of you cry. Make you pack your tissues. We're gonna cry
no.
together.
Gotta go out and get some.
Thank you so much, and please consider giving a channel the follows. That's the way that you get notifications for when we go live, and it's a free way for you to support what we're doing. Please follow us on Twitch and YouTube. I'm gonna hand it on over to TricksyWizard. We'll start with Trout. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Trout. My partner and Adam and I make TricksyWizard comics. I usually let Adam talk about that. And today I played Bunk, a blue-tongue skink, brash sniper who's wanted by the law. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of shocked no one said Scritches yet, so that's going to be a gimme one.
Yes.
For me. But my favorite thing was using GM intrusions to show people individual character stories. I think that was really artfully done on your part, Adam, and I think everyone handled it so beautifully. And I can't wait to see what Stella's looks like under duress. But yeah, I absolutely loved getting to see pieces of everyone's stories come out.
Excellent.
Scritches.
Oh
And
man.
I loved
Scritches.
Oh my god, the voice.
Can I say
Yeah.
something about Scritches?
Yeah.
Actually, I won't.
Okay.
Say it.
I'll say something about like I'm getting like Q vibes, very very Q vibes from James Bond, right? The person that outfits Bond with all the
Yeah. Yeah. I hear
that's
what you
Q. Okay.
I'm
Oh,
getting
I went to
something.
Trek Q and I was like, what?
No.
Yeah, me too. I was
Yeah,
like,
no,
John
that's where I was
Delancey?
at too initially. I'm like,
I know what you mean. Okay.
I would make Scritches an infinitely powerful, super sentient being from a continuum beyond the 3 dimensions of space. But like, I mean,
Just makes
that's
costumes for fun.
yeah,
No, we have to save that for season 2.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scritches
is that me?
ascends.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi there. Yeah, I'm Adam. I'm the other half of TricksyWizard. Happy birthday again, Trout.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, we are just wrapping up the last 2 days of our very first Kickstarter. We made a card game in conjunction with our dear friends over at Mage Hand Press called Witchy Cakes. It's a towering game of cakes and chaos. And yeah, it's been a complete roller coaster whirlwind. We've never done a Kickstarter, me and Trout, before, so this has been exhausting and also super exhilarating. And just coming down to the end here, just wanted to thank everyone who gave us some support. And if you haven't checked it out yet, just go check out Witchy Cakes on Kickstarter. You've still got time. It's real cute.
36 hours left. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you want to back it and get a really cute card game, you got 36 hours to make that dream happen.
It's very
my
cute.
favorite.
I have cards. They're good.
Yeah.
Good cards.
Yeah.
I have cards.
We drew
Do you
those
need
cards,
cards?
and that was fun
we
to
did.
do. I'd say my favorite part could be summed up with I am adaptable.
Yeah. Holy crap.
That literally
Yeah.
made me tear up. I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
I'm
like
crying.
I was not okay for a second. So thanks, Z. Damn it. Yeah,
My pleasure.
That's
Well, thank you so much, everyone. We will be back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Please take care of yourselves. Make sure you hydrate, stay warm, and we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye.
Make
So-
sure
so-
to keep it real. I saved one.
Christian.
Christian. All right. Bye, everybody.
bye.